YouTube should still be muted. About to go in. Never know. Done. Redirecting to YouTube. So make sure this is muted. Yep. I cannot hear myself talk. That was a very good thing. So I'm going to go here. Go back to Zoom. Share my screen so we can be on the right place. Go over to this. Say welcome. Hello, everybody. This is our first YouTube event. First time we've had an OC, an Ovanova Solar Exploration Experience on YouTube. Facebook's down. So we migrated platforms. What a great world we live in. And there are 3 people in the waiting room coming in now. So I'm going to go ahead and let them in. Say hello. Let's see if we can get the party started. We got Eric and Alexis and Anthony and Lisa. Thank y'all for being punctual human teammates. Hello, thank y'all for being punctual. Can you hear me? Cool. We'll get started right at the top of the hour. We love it when people are on time. I'd like to be respectful of your time. Thanks for joining us to raise some funds for things you care about and to help create a friendly conversation about solar energy. My name's Lester, and I'll introduce myself 2 or 3 more times as people arrive, but I'm your host this evening, your solar exploration guide. We have been doing these on Facebook so people could find them and watch them again if they wanted to, but this is our very first one on YouTube. And so tomorrow we'll send you a link to it if you ever want to watch it, but just know that y'all are helping to create a conversation and education for people, even the folks that aren't here. So thank you for being willing to do that. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Fellow humans?
Doing good.
What part of the world are you in, Anthony? Oh,
Actually, Rich. Anthony, for some reason, my son's name on there, but well, we're in Florida.
What's your name? I'll rename you.
Rename me to Rich, please.
All right. That's a good name to have.
Yes, sir, it is.
Rich. There you go. That should be better. I bet the lady above us isn't named Eric either. That'd be a pretty cool name for a lady. What's your name? I'll ask you to unmute.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Patricia Erdman. I'm Eric's mom.
Tricia.
I live in Miami.
Cool. I can barely hear you. I don't know if that's your. Did y'all hear really well? Was that my computer, or was she hard to hear for y'all too, Rich?
Yeah, it was very soft.
You did say.
Very soft-spoken.
Oh, great. It means you're very easy to be around. So whenever I'm speaking to you, I'll try to tone it down a little bit too. I have a tendency to get loud on the other end of the spectrum. So you did say Patricia though, right? Cool. Thank you for being here. We'll get started in 2 minutes. So it's almost time. And it'll last as long as you want it to. Well, that's not really true. I've only got 2 hours until the next one. But sometimes these last 15 minutes, and sometimes they end up lasting an hour. It's just a conversation. You never know how a conversation is going to go, but the stuff I have to share doesn't really take long. It just comes down to what you know and what you want to know. And thank y'all for being willing to join us. We're going to have a good time. 2 more minutes. Luke, this is our first one on YouTube.
Oh, we changed platforms.
Oh, Facebook was down. Did any of y'all have trouble getting into Facebook or Instagram today?
I actually was just trying to get on about 5 minutes ago, so that makes a lot of sense.
Were you having an error as well?
No, it just wouldn't load. I don't know if it was the Wi-Fi or.
Well, I can't rename you, but can you rename yourself?
I can rename myself.
It's just easier when everybody knows everybody's names. 1 more minute to go. We'll let people in a couple of minutes afterwards in case they're having trouble with technology. But for y'all who are here on time, we like to start on time because you made it a point to be here, and we acknowledge you for the responsibility that it takes to do that. Lisa, are you just about home, or do you want to join us?
I am. I'm so sorry. There's been so much traffic, but I'm like 2 minutes away from home. I promise.
That's cool. The reason we ask.
My husband's the one that's really interested in this. So
We're really grateful to have you.
I'll be there
And
in about 2 minutes.
we just want to make sure that you're safe, because a lot of times when people start hearing about this, they get more excited than they think, and that can lead to not great driving. So thank you for being here. We'll get started. There's 2 more folks to let in, and we will get the show on the road. It's 6 o'clock where I am. Is everybody okay if we get started now? Anybody opposed to that? All right, Rich, you're the man. You're like the air traffic controller telling us to go. So we're going to go. This is make sure we are all on the same page. Do y'all see some dinosaurs and the guy that looks like me and then a little dude with a bow tie and some sunglasses on your screen? Well,
do we need to be muted or unmuted?
It's up to you. If you're not in a loud place, it's great to have people talk. But if you're going to make a bunch,
I'm at cheer, and you might hear a lot of screaming and yelling. It might distract other people.
well, just long enough to introduce yourself in a couple of minutes when we get to
Okay.
it, and then you can do it however you want to. Are you Taylor or Taylor's mom or?
Me?
Yeah.
Does it say Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is my work Zoom, I guess. I'm Amber.
All
Sorry.
right.
I think that'd be nice to. So yeah, I'm Amber for Sophia. So I don't know if that's an issue.
No,
Oh, it says Amber.
I just changed it for you. I'm
thank you.
like a magician. It's just easy to remember people's names. So anyway, I'm Lester, and I'm just a country boy from West Tennessee who is a big nerd about solar energy. And I have a good mom who taught me it was a good thing to help people. Today's actually my parents' anniversary. And so 5 years ago, me and this little twerp, John Kerry, thought, you know what, it would be kind of fun if we did something good for the world, want something that we could do that would be good. And it's hard to figure out good things to do nowadays, because we all do good things. It takes all of us to make this crazy world go around. But we just thought, everybody uses electricity, and everybody's always looking to raise funds for their kids. And most people don't know that they can save money by using solar energy. And they have questions about it that they don't want to talk to a salesperson to have answered. So we created this service. And so this will be led by y'all, for y'all. I'm your guide, and I'm grateful that you're here. And the most important part about what we do is that this is for humans. Like, this would not work if y'all weren't the kind of people willing to give up a little bit of your time to support something other than yourself. So thanks just for being here. It says a lot about you. And selfishly, it's really fun to talk to people who care about something other than themselves sometimes. So thank you. So let's do some introductions, get to know each other. We can start with Luke and then go from there, since he's one of our teammates. If you can say your name, your location, and then we have one question for you. This was from last night, but we'll fill this page out, and that will guide our conversation about why aren't y'all using solar, or why do you think other people aren't, from things that you've heard. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight after the introductions. But go ahead, Mr. Wilt, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Luke Wilt, and I'm currently in Indianapolis, but originally from Maryland. And so, as Lester said, Team Ovanova. So just here to support the organizations that y'all are here to support.
Cool. Who do you want to hear from next? We'll play Duck, Duck, Goose. You choose the goose.
Go with Patricia. She's like in the thing.
All right, my name is Patricia. I'm here to learn about solar energy because it helps the planet and it also saves us money.
Why do you think more folks aren't choosing it? And which organization did you come to support tonight?
I'm sorry, I'm supporting Somerset Bay.
Oh, Sobe, yay. That's fantastic. You guys are going to have an awesome playground by the time you're done. We've met about 120 of you. So Patricia, why do you think more people aren't using solar? It sounds like you like it already, the concept of it at least.
Maybe they're afraid of the cost involved in installing solar energy, like solar panels.
Cool. So afraid of the cost, is that a fair synopsis of what you just said?
Yes, it's
Cool.
a yes.
Well, we'll get to that. Thank you for hopping on with us and being a part of the conversation to help educate people about the benefits of solar. Who would you like to choose the next person, or does somebody just want to volunteer?
Yes, I choose Miss Christina.
So, okay, there. I was like, oh, I have to unmute first before I can talk. Hi, my name is Christina, and I am supporting Sobe as well. And why aren't I using solar energy yet. I actually don't know much about it. So I was pretty intrigued when the school decided to do this kind of a fundraiser. I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know much about it, but at the same time, I'm hearing a lot of people talking about it. So I'm here to listen and know more about it.
You're not the same Christina that was the part of the CNC fundraising with Christian Santana at some point.
Yes. Yes, I was.
and you're a Sobe mom as well?
I am. How about that?
So it's Christina's former partner who set Sobe up with this service. And Christina, thank you for being here. It's awesome to meet you finally. Who do you want to hear
Thank
from
you.
next?
The next person I see on my screen is Rich.
Well, hello. I'm Rich Marsiglio from the Tampa, Florida area. I'm here to represent Tampa Venom Elite baseball team, it's a travel baseball team for my son. I guess the questions about solar, there's kind of so many that people have that are debating in our neighborhood. I guess the biggest one is any roof issues after the fact, and how can you work those out if you have to take the panels off. And they're right now, because we're being down in Florida, we're just inundated with so many different, I don't want to say suppliers, but installers and companies that are out there installing them. And so it's hard to find credibility with who's, not so much who has the best deal, but who's going to be around in, 5-10 years to help, cover any warranties. Is it looking at some of these things, 20, 21 years, 22 years, whatever the loan rate is. Those are just kind of some of the questions that a lot of people have. There's been some people in the neighborhood who are giving great speeches and showing how things work. And some people have went with them, and others who don't have the same type of presentation. So that's kind of what there's just so much out there, hard to weed through it. And then, and what is the warranty going to be like when, some of these companies who are no longer involved in it gone?
Wow, thank you. That's very, very, very authentic, Rich. I appreciate you saying those things. A lot of people are probably thinking them. And I think you're our first Tampa Bay Venom supporter, so thanks for kicking off the party. I think we might have had one more last week. Are you the first one, do you know, to join us from your organization?
I think we're the second.
You're the second. I was like, I think we have one more. But thank you for being here tonight. We'll get to all that stuff if you want to stick around long enough to hear it. It won't be that long. So who would you like to hear from next, Rich?
Well, I pretty much, let's see, everybody I see on my screen, let's go down here. I guess we can go to Stephanie. She's next up on the list.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening. I am also here in support of Sobe. I'm not a Sobe mom, I'm a Sobe aunt. Best life, because I can give the kids back. And I am a recent new homeowner, myself and my husband. And similar to what Christina said, I don't really know too much about solar panels. So we want to be energy efficient. We're basic millennials and we want to do better. So interested in hearing about this.
Well, thanks for joining us this way. Just so you know, this kind of to speak to what Rich says, I don't know that we'll be in business in 5 or 10 years, but I do know that we started this organization to add as much value as possible to as many lives as possible, Rich, which is why we don't do any type of marketing or sales other than directly with community organizations, and because they trust us to tell the truth to you. And we're grateful that you joined us, Stephanie. Thanks for being a basic millennial. Basic millennials are like super boomers. So thank you. Who would you like to hear from next?
I see the next person here, Luke. So I'll call on Luke.
I'm going to play a Uno card and reverse it to somebody else here. So I'll go to Alexis.
You might have missed it, Stephanie. Luke already introduced himself early on.
I may have been late. Sorry.
You're totally fine. I apologize.
Hi, I'm Alexis, and I am a teacher at Summerfield Elementary School. So we are obviously doing this to help with covering playground courts and things like that to kind of help the kids with how hot it is. I am from Tampa area, kind of near Riverview.
Very cool. What are your thoughts?
Why about solar energy? I mean, obviously, yes, it's kind of a hot topic right now too. Would like to learn more. But living in like a townhome situation where it's not always like your own choice on the outside of your home, I mean, that's something that I think is something that I would question. Obviously, you have HOA issues and things like that. So that's part of the reason why I don't have it.
That makes sense. Well, thank you for joining us. That can be a high hurdle to cross, but it can be if you wanted to. So who's next, Alexis?
Let me see. Maria, is she gone yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Hi everybody, my name's Maria. I'm also a Sobe mom. Joining today, why am I not using solar already? I actually don't know much about it, so haven't really dived into the concept of and thought about it for my own home. But glad to be on to learn a little bit more.
Cool. Grateful to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So baby moms are all right. Maria, who would you like to hear from next?
I have Amber, I believe is next.
Hi. So I'm Amber. I'm supporting the Northeast Bandits cheer and football organization in St. Pete, Florida. About solar. I get so many calls, so many emails, so many even text messages nowadays for solar. And I feel like everyone's just trying to figure out a way to make money off of you. And it just looks, I feel like a lot of them look really weird on houses out here. And we have so much weather. We have hurricanes. We have sometimes tornadoes. We have, it's extremely hot, then it's cold, then it's crazy weather. So how would solar panels, like, how long do they last? And also money. Like, I feel like they would be expensive because they're say they save you money in the long run. Just how much are they?
Well, we can have our first little bit here, Amber, because you basically just said almost everything that everybody says combined with the rest of it. So you did a great job. So here's the first little solar trivia bit for us tonight.
Oh, was I last?
No, you're not last, but it's just a good fun way to do it because you can't really get this one wrong. Well, I guess you can, but nobody's going to think you're stupid or anything if you do. Do you have any idea what decade solar panels were created in?
No, I'd get it wrong.
1954. Rich was
The little
gonna
hula dancers that go on your dashboard.
What's that?
Little hula dancers that go on your dashboard.
Is that when they were invented too? Those hula dancers? Are they for the 50s? So the point
I feel like they might be.
The first ones still work, and it's been almost 70 years now. So they work really well, and they come with 25-year warranties. And at the end of 25 years, they're guaranteed to be making 80 to 92% as much as they do the day they come out of the box. So we can talk more about that later, but I just wanted to hit that really quickly since you brought it up. And it's kind of a fun thing to know that this is not some new technology. It's just an under-adopted technology. So, and we'll talk about all the rest of them too. Amber, thanks for joining us. Are you the first Vipers mom? Or you didn't say Vipers, you're a Bandits.
Bandits, yeah, in St. Pete.
So are you the guinea pig going through for the organization to make sure?
No, so our president was supposed to go on, and he is crazy busy out here. He's always here like 6 nights a week, sometimes 7 nights a week from like 6 to like 10. So it's really hard to get him uninterrupted for a full hour. I think he's scheduled about 3 different times, but has never been able to join. So, I mean, I own personally 2 houses, so you'll probably see me on here again.
Great. You can come back and you'll be able to lead it next time. Who would you like to hear from next? Who hasn't gone?
I don't know if did Alexis go yet?
Yep.
I actually joined late. This is Sarah. My name is Eva Diego. I'm from Sobing.
Hey, look, she can go.
I'm sorry?
I said she can go. It's her turn.
Okay.
I was like, well, they told me I had to introduce myself, and I had it, so I didn't want to be left out.
So all we're talking about is who you are, where you're from, who you're supporting.
Well, my name is Sarah. You can put me as Sarah Diego. Eva's my daughter. I just have her as her Zoom.
Got it. And so I don't feel like renaming you right now, but why do you think more people aren't using solar, Sarah?
We're good. I'm sorry?
Why do you think more folks aren't using solar already?
I don't think they know enough about it. I think that like I don't know enough about it. I think I have some friends that went solar. I'm actually building a new house, so it would be interesting to know how this would be good for me.
Great. Well, that's why we designed this, and we're grateful that you came and grateful to make a contribution to the organization you came to support. So who is next? Is there anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 12 people in here. So I think there's about 3 people left. Who are those fine humans?
I can go. I'm
Okay.
another Stephanie that happens to be, there was another Stephanie in the group.
Hi, Stephanie, too.
Yes, hi. I'm Stephanie. I'm representing Ethel Koger Beckham Elementary.
KB.
Yes, EKB. I think it's just getting more information, which seems to be like the trend of everybody saying this. But like, if I guess my question would be like, if you had solar panels, how much can it power in the house? Can it power just one thing? Can it just power, can I have it dedicated to maybe just my pool, or can I have it dedicated just to, our major appliances? And also like what happens, in South Florida with hurricanes and really bad weather, I guess, and the high winds sometimes and all that kind of stuff.
Very fair questions. People love asking those and we love answering them. All right, we'll get to that, Stephanie. Thank you. So the short answer to how much can it power in your house is it's up to you. Each solar panel makes a certain amount of electricity, and the amount of electricity that it can make is determined by which direction it's facing and where you live. And we look at 15 years of weather data to figure out exactly how much it should produce over the course of a year. And so if you have a huge energy usage and a very small amount of sunlight, you probably can't make all of the electricity you need, but you stay connected to your utility company for the times your solar panels aren't making enough. And I'll show you how that works in a couple of seconds. But was that helpful? Just a little short piece there about that?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you. And we got 1 or 2 more people left, I believe, unless I'm counting wrong. Who we not heard from?
All right, Lisa made it home.
Yeah.
I'm no longer driving. I am from Sobe as well. I am one of the teachers there. So I'm excited to be here to learn more about all of this. They all had really good questions that I'm interested in learning about.
So all of the above?
Yes, all of the above.
That's probably a good way to wrap up. Is there anybody else left off? Just to be clear, for showing up, showing your face, introducing yourself, $50 is about to be given, and the fundraiser is going to be over as soon as we see that cat. So is there anybody who hasn't introduced themselves yet? For every homeowner. All right. Well, I believe then if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if there's 10 homeowners on here, that we just raised $500. And if you see that cat and you came for the fundraiser, it means we're done with that. You can give yourself a hand, pat yourself on the back. Like, hopefully that was a little bit easier than washing cars and selling candy bars, but we're excited. We just raised $500 like that. And hopefully it buys us enough goodwill to be able to have a real conversation about this with you as humans. There's a reason we work with churches and schools, because we didn't come here to sell you on anything tonight. We just came to help. We realize that people, 2 of you said that you get overwhelmed by sales processes, like whether it's text or calls or doors, and everybody likes to buy things, but nobody likes to be sold things. And so we decided to make this fun. So I have a question. Would anybody here like to volunteer to be the speaker for the group? Like the kid that comes up to the board and says, let's talk about this first. Let's talk about that second, so that y'all can guide the conversation. Rich or Alexis or Christina, since we know you, like, anybody want to play the lead role here? All right. Anybody willing to play the lead role here? All right, Patricia, thank you for joining us. So Patricia speaks softly, and so I'm going to speak softly as well. So I'm going to ask her to unmute. And where would you like to begin, Patricia? You're the navigator for this team. So we're on this list. Where should we begin?
Are you screen sharing the first slide?
Yes, ma'am. Can you see it where it says, why aren't y'all using solar? And it's got everybody's names.
Yes, but I don't see to the left-hand side. I can't see any of it.
Oh, that's what I'm going to show you. Based on what you tell me you would like to see, I'm going to go pull up.
Let's start with number 1. It helps the planet and saves us money, and we're afraid of the cost. So what are the costs involved?
Cool. Thank you for being here. So first of all, how does it save the planet? because this is how we make electricity now, and it's not good. It's great that we can make electricity this way, but it's basically making steam by setting things on fire. And we have to do this every single day. And no matter how many times we do it, we don't get any closer to paying it off. That's the downside. How it saves you money is very simple. Have you ever had chickens by any chance, Patricia? Okay, so you can do this with hand signals too if you want to. If you did have chickens that laid all of the eggs that you needed, how much would you spend on eggs at the grocery store?
I never do groceries. Maybe like $4.
If you didn't have to buy any?
Oh, none.
Right. And so if you had solar panels, yeah, so if you had solar panels that made all of the electricity you need, how much electricity would you have to buy from the electricity store? Right. So how solar saves money is this. Did you know that if you wanted to go solar, that you can do it with zero upfront costs?
I did not.
You know how like you can walk into the iPhone store and walk out with an iPhone and then you just pay for it monthly? It works the same way with solar. You can actually have your solar installed and working before you ever spend a dime. And the way it works, this is an example of somebody who's spending $127 a month on electricity. That means that over the guaranteed life of their solar panels, they're going to spend $38,000 on electricity if they don't do anything but continue doing what they're doing now. Solar is about half that much. So in the long term, you always save money. There's nobody on this call that wouldn't save a lot of money by using solar in the long term. But oftentimes when people say costs, they're talking about the short term because they think they're going to have a down payment because like Patricia, you didn't know that you could do it without spending a dime of your own money. And then you use the money that you were already going to spend on your electricity, but instead of paying the electricity company, you just pay yourself back or pay a loan back for your solar. And in most cases, that payment amount is less. So before y'all even showed up today, we created a free proposal using the information you shared with us with our best guess of how we would go solar if we lived in your house, how much it would save you. So if you didn't get that, check out your spam box. And tomorrow, for everybody who showed up, we'll send a deeper analysis with a bunch of options like batteries and things like that. But I don't really know if I explained this well enough until I asked. So Patricia, is it okay if I ask you a couple of follow-up questions to see if I communicated this clearly? So
I was a little preoccupied with my son who went outside, but okay.
So what's the minimum amount that you have to spend up front to go solar?
Zero.
Correct. And where do you get the money to make your solar payment with?
Where do I? Oh, you can take it from like the electric company?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're making your own electricity, this goes away. And so this is money you're no longer spending. Kind of like if you switch cell phone plans, you don't have two bills, you just have one. Or when you bought your house, you didn't keep paying your rent. You used your rent money to pay your mortgage. And that's how it worked with solar. You use the money that was going to go to the utility company. And all of you have a different amount of electricity. So that's how it saves you money. And why it's good for the environment is because it's just made from free sunlight. And it can be made one time and replace all of these crazy processes that we use to currently make electricity just by setting on your property. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you gonna have a time for Q&A or do we just like interrupt?
Interrupt.
Oh, okay. So when it comes to solar, what if it's dark all the time, like in the summer we have like rain constantly? Yeah. And is it like a electric car, like you have to switch back on the electric if your solar runs out of electric, or how does that work?
Thank you for asking, because wouldn't it be a bummer to go solar and then not be able to watch Netflix at night because the sun's not up at night? Or
I mean, it will hold energy like for nighttime and stuff like that. But what if it just like has so much cloudiness that there's no sun to power these solar panels, and then you're like I cancel my electric, I'm screwed.
Well, thank you for asking, Amber, because a couple of things there to clear up. Number one, solar doesn't store any electricity at all. The way that it works is that you don't say screw you to your electricity company. You say, hey, I'm your partner now because I'm an energy producer. And so the way it works is your solar panels make the electricity you need. Your inverters turn it into the type of electricity your house uses. Panels are DC, your house is AC. So those are the two pieces of equipment that you need to go solar. Your house uses whatever it wants to use. And during the day, you're usually making more than you're using. And so what happens then is you send that electricity back to FPL or TECO or Duke or whoever your utility company is, and they give you a credit for it. So it's like a rollover minute.
Oh, so you still have to like you still like have like your electric, right? So you don't cancel it to get all together.
Correct. The technical answer is if you really want to, you can, but that's a different setup. So this is what I'm showing you is how 99% of people do it. Luke's dad said, see you to the electric company and just got a lot of extra solar and a bunch of batteries. So let me show you how the partnership works with your utility company. Do you see this thing called a bidirectional utility meter?
Yeah.
This is counting how much electricity you're giving back and then also counting how much you're using. So on your bill, it will look like this. Those cloudy days you're talking about, you're buying electricity from the utility company. At nighttime, you're buying electricity from the utility company because you're not storing it. You're just making it, using it, or sharing it. So during the daytime, this home made $107 more electricity than it needed to use itself. And it put it back out on the lines and it was measured with this thing called a utility meter, bidirectional utility meter. So at the end of the month, this person was owed $15, Amber, by the utility company. Have you ever gotten a negative electric bill before?
I mean, no.
It's kind of
I
nice.
might have overpaid a few cents, but never.
Right. And so, right. So it's like we owe you a couple of cents from a check that you wrote. I got it. It took me a sec there to figure out what you meant. But this is that's not an aberration. Once you go solar, this is November. They owed him $15, $41, $24. And then he cashed it all in February when they had that ice storm. And he owed them $1.43. But what we do in part of our service is to help you understand what you actually need. So that determines how much that's determined by how much electricity you need to make, which is personal for everybody. The orange line is when your solar panels are making electricity. So do you see what's happening in March and April, how it's kind of flat? What usually happens weather-wise in March and April?
It's cold, or it gets nice to where you can not open the windows. Open the windows, don't use electricity.
And then what about the April showers? Do y'all have April like the springtime showers? Do y'all have a lot of rain in Florida during the?
No, we have more rain in like May, June, July, August, like our hurricane season. It rains every night, every day.
Well, the good thing is if it rains at night, it won't matter. Maybe it'll get out of the way for the daytime. But this was somebody who it was raining in the springtime. So you see the production's kind of flat. But do you notice how during these months, they're actually making more than they're using? Mm-hmm. Do you remember rollover minutes on cell phone plans?
Yeah.
It's just like rollover minute. So if you're making something that you don't use, then later on is when you cash in your credits that you already made. So when you're making more than you're using, you get credits, and then later on you cash them in for whenever you're making more or using more than you're making. That's why you're a partner with your utility provider, and they like that because it's nice to be able to send electricity right next door instead of having to transport it over hundreds of miles. You're strengthening the grid by going solar. And so a lot of folks want to know, well, how do I even know I'm getting what I paid for? And there's an app for that. If you go solar, you get an app on your phone, and dads love this because it shows you exactly how much electricity you're making and how much money that's worth every second of the day that the sun is on. So Amber, did that answer your question about how you have electricity when it's raining?
Yeah, it
Thank
does.
you.
So like a Tesla, if you run out of gas or you don't pass a gas station or electricity port, you can't charge it, so it switches on the gas.
Yeah, well, I don't think Tesla does that, but for hybrids do that for sure.
That's what I meant, hybrids.
Yep. So
Yep.
thank you for sharing. That's exactly right. So I might start saying that your house is like a hybrid. So whenever there's not enough electricity, you just switch on the gas from the utility company, and that's exactly how it works. But the utility company pays you for the extra electricity that you're making, and that's what you use to pay for your gas with.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool. So Patricia, back to you, unless somebody else wants to interrupt. And please do so. This is a conversation. That's what friends do. So are we clear on helping the planet and the cost?
I'm gonna go to number 3. What Rich asked was roof issues after the fact. How can you work those out if you have to take panels off? So many companies who are out, who do we know how to trust? How do we weed through it? What's the warranty? Yeah, I think you said the warranty was 25 to 30 years.
I can barely hear you. So all of those? Yeah, no problem. So roof issues, what most people don't know about solar panels, they actually protect your roof. And they're unlikely to leak because there's no direct rain hitting them. The way they are installed, if you have shingles, is you have this thing that slides underneath your shingles and the water runs over it and no water hits it directly, because your solar panels are like an umbrella that provide a shade for your home and protect your roof. They will leak if you have a contractor hopping around having a birthday party on your roof, and we don't hire those guys. But even if they are like that, they have insurance, or else they can't pull a permit from your county to do your job. And leaks are like the first thing that you find out, and they'll be fixed like that. There is nobody who installs solar with us, at least, who doesn't have the insurance to cover any problems they cause. But it's more of just a folklore, and just it's kind of like common sense that until you actually understand it, seems to make sense, but it doesn't. Roofs leak in the creases, not on the flat part. Most of the time, if you think about where your roof has ever leaked, it's usually where it comes together. Solar sets on the flat part of roofs and isn't likely to cause a leak, but if it does, you're secured. And it's speaking from a place of what we do, is that we know that some contractors won't honor their agreements. And so we actually keep $200 for everyone who goes solar with us, just to pitch into a fund in case you don't have somebody to talk to. But Rich, most of the warranties are with the manufacturer themselves. So the 25-year warranty is with the manufacturer of the equipment. The workmanship, which depends on your county, is usually from 2 years to 10 years. Some people are even starting to do 20 years. So if they mess something up, they'll come do it. And for the actual mechanical part of the solar panels, it depends on what you get, but it's usually a 10, 15-year warranty, because if there's a manufacturing defect, it's going to show up in the first 2 years and you're going to know about it. But the actual solar itself, what you want is the electricity. Anecdotal story about how long it takes to pop off. We had a client in North Carolina recently, and my partner, the bow tie guy, this dude, he loves working with his hands. And so if there's somebody nearby, he'll go do the work himself. And so this is a head of a yoga studio that we partnered with to raise some funds. And John got on the house, took the panel off, put it back on. The only thing that makes it hard to fix is you have to do it at night, because if you don't do it at night, you could get shocked working on the panels. But as far as the work itself, it only took him 10 minutes to put a panel on and off. The hard part is the initial process, all the permits, the engineering, the first time it's done, all of the wiring and all that stuff. After that, replacing panels is pretty simple. And the good news is panels aren't that expensive. And let's talk about hurricanes real quick. So when you go solar, part of the process is looking at your particular situation to see how strong are your rafters and how far apart are they, because this determines how many attachment points are needed in order to meet the engineered guidelines of Miami-Dade County or Hillsborough County or wherever you live. the county says how often they have to be attached so they don't fly away in a windstorm. Most counties, it's 140 to 145. But let's be real. If Hurricane Andrew comes, nothing's going to protect you. There's not a county code in the world that would protect you from a hard Category 5 hurricane. But insurance will. And I met a Sobe dad the other day that said he'd be happy to Michael Alvarez. If you need some great insurance, give him a call. So, but we check this. Part of our process is to check to make sure you're covered. But your panels aren't likely to blow off unless your roof does. And they don't make it any more likely they'll blow off. If you Google this, you'll see pictures of roofs that have blown off and the panels are still attached to the roof. So they're very, very well mounted, which is why somebody is willing to put a 25-year warranty on them that you can take out a loan because of. But I understand the concern. It seems like they'd almost be a parasail, and they can flip off. And there's two types of solar panels. The kind that usually does have problems just heats water. These solar panels make electricity that you could use to do anything with. So Patricia had to get up, and so, she came back. I was going to ask somebody else to lead. She's still the leader. All right, Patricia, did I do a good job answering that?
Yes, that was a great answer. Good job.
Cool. Hard to weed through. We had a hard time weeding through it too. We almost went out of business for like 5 years because we wanted to do good things for communities, and most of the solar industry that we attempted to partner with wanted to see how much money they could squeeze out of every transaction. So it is tough to know who to trust, but you probably have some great companies in your local area that you could trust. And what I would recommend, other than us, because we can help you go solar. We've done it for folks in 14 states, and we have really great values because we don't have to pay for marketing and sales commissions. But Energy Sage is a really good place to learn about solar and get some quotes without having to talk to too many salespeople. And Project Sunroof is a pretty cool place. And then any local company, if you want somebody to come to your house, they can do it, but you'll pay for that if they do in the actual price, because it's hard to send somebody knocking on doors, and it costs money to send text and telephone calls and all the stuff that it takes usually to sell solar. We just thought if people really knew the value of solar, it wouldn't have to be sold. So we got a chat message here. So that was Luke had to step away. Good. Where do we want to go next, Christina? Thank y'all for paying so much attention.
Question that I didn't see there. Do you get a tax break if you have solar panels?
As a matter of fact, you get it better than a tax break. It's a tax credit, which is the same thing as a tax break, but it's not like writing off mileage if you're 1099. It's a 26% of whatever your solar cost. So in your email, when you look at your proposal, you'll see three payment options. One's a cash payment option. One is 21 years, including the tax credit. One's not including the tax credit, because you can get the tax credit and just buy a four-wheeler or a boat with it if you want to. But if you spent $20,000 on your solar panels, next year you get to keep $5,200 that otherwise you would send to Uncle Sam. And an accountant that we had review the law said that you have up to 20 years to claim that credit if you don't have enough tax liability to claim it the first year. But if you can claim it all, you claim it all. So yes, it's 26% of not just the solar panels, but the entire cost to install the system and activate the system and warranty the system and monitor the system, like the entire cost, including your roof. If you need a new roof, then the part of your solar that the roof sits on also qualifies for the 26% tax credit as well. So that's a really good question. Yes, ma'am, that is valid. And it almost went away. It's gotten extended a couple of times. Who knows how long it'll be there, but it's there now and for another year or two. And the biggest cost of solar right now is sales and stuff. And that's why we started this, so that we could help people save those costs. What else would you like to talk about? You're being a great guide for the team, Patricia. Thank you.
Could we scroll down and look at Amber's comment? She says, get overwhelmed by solar sales. I think you passed it. But Amber's comment, let's look at that.
Is this, so if you view this as a yeah, we don't really have a sales process, but we have a making it easy to buy process, which sounds really salesy to say. Has this been overwhelming? so far, Patricia, or has this been pretty decent?
Pretty decent.
So we agree with you, and we're trying to get rid of those. That's why we start by giving. And even if you'd hung up as soon as you saw the cat, we would still make the donation to your organization. We really do love supporting good causes. And the rest of the industry really likes to help people go solar, and some of them do a really good job. I have nothing bad to say about the other people doing the work. We just go about doing things different ways. But I will speak to is we've already spoken about hurricanes. We talked about crazy weather and the warranties. Do you remember how long the standard warranty is for the solar panels? Patricia, do you remember that number? The number of years solar is warranted for? Rich got it. He's helping you cheat. 25. And so now let's talk about the aesthetics, because that's another thing Amber said. Solar panels used to look like this. And those are pretty ugly. What most folks don't recognize is that nowadays, solar panels, at least the ones that we use, are all black. They look more like a skylight or like ice on your house than a solar panel. That's the same house in the winter in Texas. You don't even have to get them on your roof. They're great to put on your roof because they protect your roof. But you can totally build a structure if you wanted to, so they didn't have to be on your house. A carport, a pergola, or if you like camo, then you can actually camouflage your solar panels to make them match exactly what your the color of your house is already. Those are solar panels on those houses. So there's all kinds of slick ways you can go about doing it. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you. And I didn't come to tell you what's pretty and what's not. I just came to share some information that they look a lot better than you might have known whenever you got into this conversation. And that's why there was just a study done by Zillow that said going solar will increase the value of your property by 4.1%, and it will make your house sell 17% faster. So if you don't know if you're going to be in your house for a long time, just think about, if you were moving into a house, wouldn't you prefer your house to have a lower electricity bill? And if you're a basic millennial, to know that your electricity is being made from sunlight, and it's the millennials who are going to be buying the homes. And so that's why solar is just a good thing. It saves you money. Somebody would rather live in this house than this house, especially when this one could be paid off and this one never goes away. So that was Amber's, at least the best I could do. Is there more you would like to hear about that, or did that bring up any additional questions for anybody? Cool. Alexis, this is a special situation, but we'll speak to homeowners. If you live in a homeowners association place, they can't legally, the Supreme Court said they can't legally stop you from going solar. They can make it cumbersome. They can make you not put it on the most efficient part of your house in some places because they don't like the way it looks. They can make you use all black panels, which we already use. They could maybe make you get some solar skin. But at the end of the day, they can't stop you from going solar. If you live in the one caveat is if the community isn't fully developed yet. So if there's still empty lots, they can stop you. And in townhomes, you would need the entire owners of the entire roof space to say, yes, we could do it. So you'd have to work as a team to get it done. But in Florida, at least, even townhomes can go solar. It's just a matter of, can you lead your teammates towards it? So, but HOAs we help work with. It's usually just a matter of helping them understand things that y'all are learning about tonight. So what else do you not feel that we've talked about that would be worth discussing? Bueller. Bueller. So if y'all don't have any more questions about this stuff, let me share with you what the process is if you want to take the next step in your exploration journey. So the first step is tonight. Congratulations, you have completed the first step of your solar journey, which is exploring and just learning. Like, hey, it costs less. They work for a long time. you're still attached to your, oh, I forgot something important and it's bad. Here's the bad thing about solar panels. Real quick, if you have a hurricane and the lines get knocked down, then hopefully FPL is going to be out putting those lines back up, which means there's human beings in contact with those electric wires. Remember, you're a partner who's now producing electricity. So if you're putting electricity on those wires when people are working on them, then you could hurt your neighbors, and that ain't cool. So your solar panels sense when there's no electricity coming in from the lines and they stop working. So after a hurricane, you will not have energy just like all of your neighbors. However, have y'all ever heard of a generator? Well, a battery is the same thing as a generator, except for it doesn't have to be started and it doesn't require fuel. Your solar panels fill it up with electricity for you. And then 6 milliseconds, at least with the way we set it up, 6 milliseconds after the power goes down, it kicks in and you just start using backup battery power. So if tomorrow the detailed thing we'll send you, there's a tab at the bottom that will show you what what your battery options are. So, but again, you don't need it to have the same reliability you do now. You don't need it to have the same reliability you do now. You don't need it to save money. But if you want power after a hurricane, you'll need a battery or a generator. So, but that's the second or the third part. So explore and learn. Next question you want to get answered is how many panels you need. That depends on how much electricity you actually make. The proposal that you have in your email right now is based on the guess that you gave us when you registered for the fundraiser. And you're probably just in a hurry and wondering, why are they asking me so many questions? I'm a newbie. Stop. I want to sign up. So that number you gave us as a guess might have just been a wild guess, and that's okay. You can just let us know it was a wild guess and we'll create something that's accurate for you. It's no problem to do as many redesigns as you would like. But what determines that is how much electricity you need and then what direction your panels face, because one panel facing south will make as much electricity as 1.5 facing north. So if you look at your design and you're wondering, why did they put panels in these locations? We were attempting to maximize the space that gets the most sunlight. So you would have to buy the fewest panels to make the electricity that you need. But you can put them wherever you want to put them. Just know that we did it in a way that would cost you less to make the same amount of electricity, but you can have them wherever you want them. And that's actually what direction you put your panels makes a bigger difference in your solar production than whether you live in Tampa or Buffalo. A lot of people wonder, can my friends from Buffalo use solar? So if y'all have friends all over the United States, you're welcome to invite them to support your organizations. They don't have to be in your local area. If you've got an aunt in Kansas or wherever, and this has been a pleasant experience, feel free to invite others to join the process because we love having this conversation. Then you get to figure out what equipment you want. Do you want batteries? Then you get to figure out, how do you want to pay for it? Do you want to do $0 out of pocket and use your electric bill to make your solar payments? Or do you want to pay for it all and get rid of your electricity bill forever and look at it as a safe investment? You don't have a solar payment or an electricity bill. You just own the equipment that turns sunlight into electricity. Or do you want to do something in between? Kind of like when you bought your house, you could do a 15-year, 30-year, and we don't make any money from the choice that you make. You can do a home equity loan. You can do whatever you want to do, and we'll take as much time as you need. We're on your timeline, not ours, which is why this can take from under an hour. It doesn't take long to have this conversation, or it can take many years. And the thing we'll send you tomorrow, there's an easy way to click to book a time to get back in touch with us when you're ready to continue the conversation. Pictures and engineer drawings. So this part takes 3 weeks. If y'all ever tried to get anything permitted to build, so you know why this is up to 4 months. Like, you think you got it perfect and then it's rejected and you got to do it again. So that's your local municipalities. Then you get to choose which contractor you want. You can use one from our network, or if you have a friend who's an electrician and would like to get into solar installation and has the right licenses, we can certainly work with them. No problem at all. You can have a brother or sister do the job, or you can maybe learn enough about it to do it yourself if you're a handy person. And so then after you choose your contractor, then the equipment's delivered. Last thing that people actually care about in this is the installation only takes 1 to 3 days. It's not like putting in a kitchen or a bathroom where they're in your house forever. It's quick. But then you get to wait again because the county comes to inspect it to make sure that it's actually installed in a way where it's hurricane resistant. Nothing is hurricane proof, but so that it's hurricane resistant. And then if your system, then the electricity company comes to put that box in to measure how much that you're selling to them. And then you're activated. You start making electricity. And if there's money left over from the project, you'll see in this thing that we're sending you that looks kind of like this, except for we'll have a picture of your house and the environmental benefit of you going solar. This is what we're going to send you sometime in the next 24 hours. This is where you can click when you want to get back in touch with us. And this had something to do, I was pulling this up for a reason. I don't remember. Oh yeah. You'll see this thing called an imperfect information fund. And we usually end up giving that back to you. That's just because we want to give you the worst case scenario and then do the best we can to save you money. You actually pay what we pay for your equipment. All we have is a fee that allows us to continue to give these experiences to more people, give more money to more organizations. If that sounds good, then we'd love to work with you. We'll manage your project, help you find your contractors, make it easy. It's about an hour. It would take you about an hour of your time total to go solar if you wanted to, without much headache other than the waiting game. And you're going to get this tomorrow where you see every single part. You will see different payment options that you can click on. You will see a battery option at the bottom. And there's all sorts of places where you can click. I don't know, this thing has a mind of its own. It always seems to get out of place. But you can click and get back in touch with us, or you can never talk to us again, and we'll be glad that we met. And hopefully you'll tell people that those were pretty nice guys and they seem to actually care about solar energy and wanted to do good things for our community. So anybody you'd like to send us, we'll be glad to have this conversation. We'll be glad to make a contribution. And just know that we are here and we're not going to pester you or bother you. Your electric bill will be your reminder. So I believe we have almost covered all of these things. Is there anything else, Patricia, or anyone else that you would like to cover while you have me here tonight?
No, I think we covered it all. Sorry, I got disconnected earlier.
Well, thanks for creating a YouTube experience. You will also be the very first group of people ever, when you receive your design, to also receive a link where you can watch this on YouTube as many times as you want to. So, Rich, that keeps us honest. It's kind of hard to lie to people if you're doing it in a group and you're recording it on YouTube. So whether or not that will prove to allow us to be have longevity, we don't know yet. But we know that there's people in Texas and in California and 14 states who use our service to go solar that allowed us to give money to the causes y'all care about tonight. And again, we're grateful selfishly to get to meet folks like y'all. Invite anybody you'd like to join us, and have a good evening. I'll stick around in case anybody is shy and has any questions, but y'all are welcome to hop out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great meeting you.
It's great meeting y'all too, Christina. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Maid at home says thank you.
Tell Lisa Maid at home that she was fun to hang out with tonight. So
All right.
we'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I can have you. There we go.
We'll get ready for the next one.